morning. Andrew Canuck here, Climate Field View product specialist coming to you from Western Iowa on the DMAC Community College Career Discovery event series. And I'm going to talk about my agricultural technology career and do a little spotlight for you folks today. So with that said, who are you talking to? Who am I? So you see my picture on the left, and I've got live feed today. My background is I'm from a farm in Northwest Iowa, so you can see that up there. And then I attended Iowa State University. So that's been some of my background. I've always been involved in agriculture and had a passion for that. And as I finished up my college career, I actually started with Monsanto, which is now merged with Bayer. And I moved to Mississippi, way down on the bottom of that image, to a brand new area, had a chance to learn. I didn't have any ties to a wife or children at the time. So my encouragement to you as young folks, as you're thinking about careers, be willing to try something and get out of your comfort zone while you have that opportunity. So as I move forward and talk to you a little bit about my path, I did mention that I'm from a family farm. And with that, I am actively involved in the family business today. So some of my training and learnings and involvement was through 4-H and FFA. I was really involved in those programs and did some sports and speech, etc. Iowa State University, as I mentioned, was where I pursued college. I got a degree in agriculture business and ag studies. One thing I really encourage you as a young person coming up is explore those internships. I had 3 internships, and that's a time where you can fail with no regard or no recourse, but you can also learn in terms of what do you like, and as you're exploring that, is this something I should pursue? So I worked at a retail co-op setting. I worked at the USDA Natural Resource Conservation Service, and I worked at Ag Leader Technology right there in Ames. Bottom line is there's no replacement for actual experience. Go ahead and get that while you have a chance. Sharing a little story with you on the picture of the right, my brother and I had read about planting soybeans green into live cover crop. Well, we'd never experienced it, so we tried it for ourselves on our farm and got to see it firsthand. Would it work in our management and operation? And successfully, it was great. It worked out fine. And fundamentally, we knew we had some risks of failure, but we took a calculated risk. So I encourage you, as you're thinking about careers, be in kind of that mind frame and don't be afraid to take a chance. So I want to tell you, why should you explore a career in agricultural technology? If you look on the left over here, the 19th century was about plows and starting to break the land and getting things into production. 20th century has been about things such as chemistry and bringing mechanization to agriculture and some traits and technology and seed. At this point, the 21st century, we have so much technology happening, from layers that the equipment is collecting to understanding soil sample information to making seed choices based on data layers and true science research. So as you're thinking about this and go, I didn't know that ag was really this digital and there's this much technology. Some of the things that I think about that come to mind is, do you like science? Are you passionate about mathematics and understanding things statistically? Do you like to communicate? Can you talk to people? Can you convey an idea? What about being a problem solver? Do you like to fix things? Do you like to understand how things work? Are you technical? Do you like to maybe tinker on something mechanically or wire something up? Maybe it's really an eclectic mix between all of those. And that's truly what agricultural technology encompasses today. It's a whole lot of skill sets and background and formal training. One thing I'm going to tell you here straight up is there will be new technology career opportunities created that don't exist today. My career didn't exist 10 years ago. And so part of it is the colleges and career courses are doing everything they can to have you on the leading edge, but there'll be things constantly change and evolve. Everything that affects ag is becoming digitized. So seed, Right here in central Iowa, there's seed chippers that understand the DNA and understand the sequence of the genes. Technology drives that. Today, you can get weather on your phone. A farmer could pull up a field today and understand weather while they're sipping their coffee. There's so much hardware and information. So think about your smartphone, your iPad, the computer. Maybe it's equipment that's starting to stream data and pull it together. There are people that have to support, sell, service, and train these type of applications, be it from the end purchaser to people all through that chain. Sensors, soil moisture probes, there's nitrogen sensors, there's the ability to control irrigation, there's sensors on equipment. All of these sensors are collecting data. We are getting very, very digital. The whole problem is we have to have people that engage that data. That data doesn't tell the story by itself. So with that, what is a field product specialist? What do I do today professionally? I call myself a digital agronomist. And what that really entails is I work with farmer customers on research trials, and those are set forth by my Climate FieldView science team. So I'm trying to test things and understand how did something react and can we use it to build a model. I also support on the next tier down, I've got Bayer sales coworkers that might need help on data. They might need help on hardware. They might want me to come and do a presentation. Climate FieldView dealers also work with me via trials. I may do a speaking event at their customer day. I could help them with data analytics, answering technical questions. And so as you look down at the bottom row in orange, there are so many skill sets that I encompass in my career today. So agronomy, I go out and scout. I look at diseases. I may pull soil samples. I have to use analysis and problem solving. It might be getting that customer that aha moment. I figured something out on my field. I have to collaborate with teammates, customers to get the tasks done. Communication. So I'm speaking here with you today. That's a big component. Can I clearly express information? Can I talk to folks via text, email, social media, public speaking? So can I present to that customer field day or do a webinar? I do some sales as well. So selling the idea on why you should partner with me on a trial. I was involved in sales for a number of years with seed and chemistry, and then through the Climate FieldView platform. Technology is also a huge part of what I use today. So my iPad, my phone, the FieldView apps, things that help collect the data and make my daily job functions come to life. So this is an eclectic mix today. Field product specialist is specific to climate. There's also other similar roles at different companies. So what do I do? What's some examples of how I have activity each day? So I'll kind of start you here in the center, customer meetings and presentations. Exactly what I'm talking to you today on, I do those. If you look over to the right, there's a hybrid map followed by an application map. I lay out trials, and that's a trial that I've laid out, and I have to follow it from planting through application and into harvest and get that data brought back to then test the hypothesis of what we're trying to solve for. In the bottom right, there's a field region report example and showing data analysis, getting that customer to say, aha, helping them learn why is that area of the field either producing well or not producing well, and what can we learn. As I get to the other components of my career, you'll see a leaf in my hand there. I do some outdoor work, some in-field scouting. So it's not just behind the computer. We have to do boots on the ground work. I've done soil sampling in addition to that scouting to understand some of the trials a little bit better. And so as I get to the last picture here in the top left, prescriptions. So as we start to understand variability and we get to the point that we know what's going on, then we can write a planting prescription or potentially a fertilizer prescription to optimize that acre with that customer. So as you think about this, every decision matters and every pass matters, but it's different across the operations. And as this technology comes together, there's so many things that we're trying to learn and want to learn. Ultimately, customers are collecting this data. I'm working with it in terms of research, and then also just customers understanding their farms. So as we get there, operations are different. They value different things based on what they're trying to solve for and understand their yield variability. So how do I collect data? What do I do with it? Climate Field View is the app with the iPad in the center, and that's an in-cab experience. So you're actually seeing that data live. And then we've got a hardware device called the Field View Drive there. And that Field View Drive plugs in and collects the data for transmission to that iPad. We also plug into that Precision Planting Seed Sense and Yield Sense monitor to collect that data. So this is real time that you can walk through that data in the cab and be able to walk that home with you at night to make some decisions. So it's extremely powerful. You really couldn't have done this 10 years ago. So as we talk about how does the data work and what do we do with it, the in-cab experience is on the right. That's what the farmer uses in the cab to collect the data. That data then through the internet transfers to the FieldView app on the left, where they can share data with advisors. And then ultimately they can partner and collaborate on understanding that information for a better decision or a more informed decision. Data is also accessible through the internet at climate.com. So it gives the customer data access anywhere, anytime. They control and own that data. So maps, many of you have never seen these, but this is what modern farm equipment today is collecting. And I'm actually just going to switch over here and show you this. So this is my iPad, and I'll just minimize it for a second. And if you look down at the center here, I've got my FieldView Cab app icon right here. And so I'm just going to pull this back up. This is my hybrid map. This is showing me what I planted based on the planter going through the field. And it shows me my different hybrids over here in the legend in the right here. Now, if I want to see something like how did the planter downforce work and should I make adjustments to maintain seeding depth, I can look at some of these different areas here, and I could actually walk back to those areas and understand, do I have compaction or did I have something mechanically wrong with that planter? And as we get there, we can look at other layers like satellite imagery, we can look at fertilizer. Ultimately, I'm just going to take you to the yield map. So that yield map looks pretty good. But what if we want to learn more? One of the coolest things that we can do today, and is actually extremely valuable, any one of you could do this today that is listening to this career series. I can do this field region report where I can draw and analyze, and you can have a conversation now, what does that information mean? So I drew a 1.6 acre circle. The yield data in there says the average moisture was 17.8% and did 279 bushels. And if I look down here, these are my different hybrids that had performance. And now I could start to make a better informed decision about what hybrid fit that field for the following years. And so this is things that we have to have guys and gals coming into this field to help farmers and help people with this information to make sense. So now, as I switch through this, the next wave that's happening is artificial intelligence and machine learning, and we're doing predictive data science. So that means the tractor on the left there looks like it's just an ordinary tractor and planter, but it's collecting the data there that in turn is feeding, a model, and the model is starting to say, hey, we're getting input from Mr. Farmer. We know what the hybrid information is. We know some soil information and soil sampling information. What might be my top 4 choices of a hybrid or variety that fit that field for this farmer to help them drive productivity? Behind that, we have computer engineers, software engineers, product managers, people that understand physics, soil science, sales, marketing. There's a whole host of careers that feed off of this, and I'm just one part of the system of doing the front end commercial research with a customer. So as I come to the tail end of this series, you're saying, hey, I'm kind of interested. I'm considering this career path. How should I prepare? Well, the answer is, as you're in high school and activities, you've got a great opportunity. You can learn anything today. So math and science are core requisites. Get involved in some agriculture classes. Maybe it's welding or crops or soils. The language and communication, so English class, maybe you take an international language class like Spanish or something like that. Ultimately, computer courses, how to use the technology, how to put presentations together. I had mentioned I was in 4-H and FFA. They're great foundations for helping you, and if you haven't explored them, I'd encourage you to take a look. Speech, drama, play, getting out and presenting in public. We're looking for leaders that want to express their opinion and be able to contribute. Maybe you like sports, great teamwork and collaboration right there. And time effectiveness and management, learning, training, and tenacity. Band and choir might be your passion. You get to express yourself. You get to learn some of the same things in terms of sticking with it and learning music. You may say, I don't know if those other things are for me. Well, if the high school offers an internship or job shadow experience, take them up on it. Try it. An after school job, some of you may have passion for that. Great way to learn. Get your feet wet. I'll give you a couple suggestions here that I found helpful for my success. On the left, I've got a bullet point that says learn thinking styles, and I've got analytical, creative, expressive, detailed. You may see this training expressed in a different form, which is okay. I've had it 7 times in my professional career since 2008. It is extremely helpful to know how to communicate and how to understand the people that you're talking with and working with to find harmony, find a solution, and get down the path for success, not only for you, your company, but your customer and just, helping mankind. So a couple bullet points on the right. Network. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Get to know people. Communication. Can you speak? Do you know how to use the right forms? Text message, email. Looking at social media as an opportunity. The one comment I'll give on social media is learn how to use it properly. Be a little cautious that there can always, be something looked up in prior history. Dress for success. Be prepared. Look nice. Dress the part. Your attitude determines your altitude. When you figure out that you can do anything, things get much easier. And it's easier to do it with a smile than, maybe a little bit of grumbling and not being prepared. Find a mentor. They're cheap, no cost. Nobody's going to charge you for that. Everybody wants to help you succeed, but you have to ask. Why I love my career. There's a whole lot of photos here. The number one thing is I help customers succeed. Number 2, as I help them succeed, earn their trust, they share things with their life. And that's part of today, just getting to know people, understand what makes them tick and what's out there beyond what you know. I share the example of the lion on the right side. Never dreamed I'd see a stuffed lion and a customer's passionate about safari things, and that's his passion, which that's a 1 in a million type of opportunity. I've got the chance to see a drone fly in the middle, which was self-learning. I've had guys tell me about their vehicles. Certainly the travel and time on the road takes me at different times, so I get to see beautiful sunsets, sunrises. I've got to see a gentleman build his own small-scale little John Deere tractor, and ultimately I get to interact with the technology and see it work. So as I end this, my name was Andrew Canuck. I'm with Climate Field View. There's my email. If you ever got a question, feel free to send a note to me. I'll do my best to respond in a timely manner. I want you to step back and realize that there's going to be some awesome sunsets. There's going to be some speed bumps in your career. Make sure you step back and smell the roses and understand that your career is a journey. Nobody builds a house in a day. You can't build your career in a day. But if you get up and do your best every day and you hit it hard and hustle with a smile, you're going to have a lot of success. I'd love to see you sometime in the future in an ag technology career. So with that, I want to thank you for your time today and listening to my presentation.